Hello everyone and welcome back. In this new lesson we're going to present an alternative to the fakeAsync testing zone. We have actually been using it so far in our tests. I'm talking about the async test utility that we use typically here in the before each block of our test suite. So how does async work? Well, this is actually very similar to the fakeAsync test zone. So what the async test utility is going to do is to wrap this code block in a test zone. This test zone is very similar to fakeAsync, but it works in a fundamentally different way. So just like the case of the fakeAsync test zone, the async test utility is going to detect all the asynchronous operations that are made inside the block that it's wrapping. In this case, for example, the async test zone is going to detect that a promise is being used here in the call to compile components, for example. So the async test zone is going to wait, as we have seen before, for the promise to get evaluated and all these variables to be populated before considering the before each block as completed. As you know, this is a very similar concept to what we do here with the fakeAsync test zone. So let's try, for example, to rewrite this test. Let's write a second version of it. This time around, instead of using fakeAsync, let's write it with async and see how it works and what are the differences. So I'm going to start by copying here the current content of the test. Now I'm going to replace here fakeAsync and I'm going to use the async test zone instead. So what are the differences? In order to understand them, let's start by running this test exactly as it is. And let's just add here a different name to the test so that we can distinguish between the version of our test that is using fakeAsync and the new version of our asynchronous test that is now using the async test zone. So if we now check the test results, we're going to see that the async version of our test is failing with the following message: the code should be running in the fakeAsync zone to call this function. So what is going on here? What is going on is that the async test zone works in a very different way than fakeAsync. So in the case of the async test zone, we cannot call flush, for example. So we don't have full control over the emptying of the tasks and microtasks queues like in the fakeAsync zone. We also can't call tick and control the passage of time inside the test. So that is what is causing the test to fail, the call to flush. If we now run the second version of the test and we check the test results, we are going to see that the test is now failing. So we can see that our assertions are failing. We are not finding the security course in the DOM. So it's like we never clicked on the advanced tab button. Now, going back to the tests, let's try to understand why. So the async test zone, unlike fakeAsync, does not allow us to write our assertions here in a synchronous looking way just after executing the functionality that we want to test. Instead, the async test zone is going to keep track of any asynchronous operations created by our code, such as set timeout, set interval, promises, and the async test zone is then going to give us a callback that is going to notify us when all those asynchronous operations are completed. Using that callback, we will then be able to run our test assertions and confirm if the test is passing or not. So in order to get access to the callback, we're going to use here the test fixture. So we have here an API available which is called when stable. So this is the callback that the async test zone is going to call whenever all the asynchronous operations that the test zone has detected inside the code that is wrapping are completed. So if we would have here several calls to set timeout, to promises, request animation frame, etc., when all those asynchronous operations are completed, only then will that when stable callback be called. So how does this work? Well, when stable is going to return us a promise. So using this promise, we can provide here a then block, and here inside this then block, we can put here any code that we would like to run after all the asynchronous operations performed by the tested code have been completed. And in the case of tests, that typically means running our assertions. So let's move the assertions here inside the then promise. Let's also add here some logging in order to make sure that our assertions are getting correctly called. Let's now run this test in order to see the async test zone in action, and if we check here the test results, we are going to see that now the async version of our component test is passing successfully, and we can also see here in the log that the when stable promise is actually being resolved when all the asynchronous operations launched by the component are completed. So as we can see, the async test zone is an alternative to fakeAsync in order to write our asynchronous tests, but it's clearly not as convenient as fakeAsync. So for one, we don't have control over the passage of time, we don't have control over the emptying of the microtasks and the task queue, and most of all, we don't have here the possibility of writing our assertions in a synchronous looking way directly here in the body of the test. Instead, we need to use here a promise and some nested code. So as you can see, fakeAsync allows us to write tests that are easier to read without the need of using nested code, and also fakeAsync gives us more testing possibilities. With the fine-grained control of the passage of time, we can write certain tests to test intermediate states of our component at specific points in time that is just not possible here with this one callback. This one callback is going to get called whenever all the operations get resolved. We don't have the sort of fine-grained control that fakeAsync gives us in order to run certain tasks one by one and test intermediate states in our component. Now the question is, why does the async test zone exist when compared to fakeAsync, and why are we using it here at the level of the before each block? Well, one major feature of the async test zone that fakeAsync does not have is that async supports actual HTTP requests. So if by some reason you need to write a test that is actually not a unit test, but for example an integration test that is doing actual HTTP calls to a backend, that would not be possible with fakeAsync. The goal of fakeAsync is to write our code in a fully synchronous way, like we see here with the assertions in the test body, and having our component do an actual HTTP call to a backend would not allow us to do that. So if we have to test a component that is doing an actual HTTP backend call, then in that case we need to use the async test zone and not fakeAsync. Now, there are some situations when even an unit test and not an integration test would need to do an actual HTTP call. So in the case of our components, because we are using here the Angular CLI, when we run our tests, the template of the component, which is in a separate file, and also the styles of the component, these are not going to be fetched from our backend using an HTTP call. This is bundled together with the component in line by the Angular CLI before executing the test. However, you might be writing unit tests in an environment such as, for example, System.js, where that possibility is not available, and the template of the component and the CSS of the component is getting fetched from the backend using actual HTTP requests during the test execution. So in that particular case, if you are running tests in that environment, then we would need to use the async test zone and not fakeAsync. This is also actually one of the reasons why we are using async here in the before each call. So you might be importing here some third-party component that is a legacy component and that is by some reason fetching its HTML and CSS from the backend using HTTP calls. So here in the before each block, we want to make sure that this promise here gets executed, filling in these variables before the before each block is considered completed. It's very convenient to use the async test zone, because that's exactly what this zone is going to do. The before each block is going to get called. Most of the components are going to be compiled synchronously, but potentially some of the components, due to the use of HTTP requests to fetch HTML and CSS, might be compiled asynchronously. So in that case, we want to make sure that the promise gets resolved before going forward with the tests. A very practical way is simply to use async, because that's exactly what the async test zone does. It will wait for the promise to resolve before going on with the test. We could potentially also use here fakeAsync if we are sure that we are only using here components that are compiled synchronously without the need of fetching any external HTML and CSS. So in order to trigger here this promise, we would have to add here, for example, a call to flush microtasks. We could also call flush here that flushes both the microtasks queue and the main task queue. Let's have a look at this in action in order to confirm that this would also work. If we now check the test report, we are going to see that all our tests are passing correctly, meaning that the before each block is still waiting for the evaluation of this promise before being considered completed. So as we can see, even though we could use fakeAsync if we are sure that all our components are compiled synchronously, it's actually much better to simply use the async test zone and not have to add here this call to flush, which would be surprising to find here in the before each block. The use of async is going to make sure that the then promise gets called in all cases with synchronous and asynchronous compiling components, so this is the best choice for the before each block. Now, besides the before each block, what about our tests? Should we choose fakeAsync or async for testing asynchronous components? So I would recommend that you use fakeAsync as much as possible due to the more fine-grained control over the test, and also by the nicer looking way that the test is organized with the assertions here nicely at the bottom of the file, and save the use of async for component testing only in the rare cases where you need it. This should almost never be necessary. In general, async is really only used in the before each block of your test suites. And also another important reminder, it's important to keep in mind that both fakeAsync and async are test utilities aimed at assisting in testing asynchronous functionality. So we should only use them if necessary, we should not use them systematically. The majority of the functionality in our components and services should be testable using synchronous testing techniques only. Only in rare cases will you need to write asynchronous tests, and in those cases the fakeAsync test utility with the fakeAsync test zone is usually the best choice. And with this, we have completed our section on Angular asynchronous testing, and we have also completed the test suite of our home component. What we're going to cover next is end-to-end testing. We are going to start now a complete new section on Angular end-to-end testing using Cypress. We are going to learn how to set up Cypress in an existing project, and we're going to talk about the differences between unit tests and end-to-end tests.